welcome to Dr. Emmet who receives Leaders in Leadership. You better stand your watch podcast. First, I'd like to give honor to God. Without him, none of this is possible. I'd like to give a great big hello to my wife, Yusemi, and all of my kids. Today, I want to get into the area of communication. I'm not going to go into a dialogue of the different traits, the different personality, the different characteristics. I'm just going to talk about two areas of communication today. Leader communication is used to relay information about the company's culture, core values, mission, and crucial messages to build trust and encourage employees. It prevents miscommunication within the organization and ensures that all employees are kept up to date with important information. That's leaders' information. It could go both ways. Leader and leadership information, you're basically informing your associates of the up-to-date information, up-to-date policies, up-to-date procedures, and up-to-date SOPs. So you're keeping them abreast on things that's going on that are better to help them in their areas of expertise in the job. Now, the two keys of communication by leaders in the workplace that I'm going to be talking about today are the leadership traits of an introvert and an extrovert. An introvert is someone who is more focused on their own feelings and thoughts. They're more into themselves, so to speak. They're more into their accomplishments. They're more into what they can get done. They're more into the things that they want to happen. An extrovert is someone who is more outgoing and energetic with other people in their environment. Introvert might be an individual who just likes to be alone, likes to read, likes to walk alone, jog alone, very artistic and into music and things of that nature. An extrovert is an individual who's probably involved in team activities, likes to play team sports, like to do group activities, like to be around others and feel comfortable around others, whereas an introvert does not. So the type of communication in the workplace that the leaders should have with introvert and extrovert centers around how each different trait can display this sort of leadership style and how they can communicate with their associates using these styles. You're going to have one or the other in the workplace. There's no way around it. You're going to have an introvert, you're going to have an extrovert. I think some of the problems that happen in the workplace today is that we take that introvert and put them in a leadership position. Why? Because a lot of the researchers and the theorists say that the best sort of leader in the workplace is an introvert leader versus an extrovert leader. They feel that an introvert leader is more detailed and more into being focused than the extrovert leader. I beg to differ. I believe that the extrovert, I'm going to flip it, is a better leader in the workplace than introvert. Why do I say that? Because my experiences with leaders and the extrovert and introvert have led me to believe, through my personal involvement, is that extrovert leader, depending on the job, of course, is more productive, can get more out of the associates. In my profession, in warehouses and distribution centers and the military, they can get more out of an individual because they're more in tune with how to get a team up and rolling because they were involved in team functions. Employee engagement. How can an introvert who's within themselves, who only work alone, who only involve themselves in the things they do and don't allow anyone inside their personal space, how do they engage with employees? It's difficult for them to do that, but yet you take them and put them in a leadership position. So that's not setting them up for success, that's setting them up for failure. So you got this introvert who's a leader in the workplace, who goes out to communicate with the employees in the 10-minute huddles, the 10-minute meetings before everything starts, or they meetings before everything starts, depending on the work environment, the workplace, and they have nothing to say. You have the supervisor, you have the other associates overtake the meetings, and that manager just standing there. just listening. Don't say anything. So where's the trust, the loyalty and respect is going to be towards that individual? But you got that extrovert leader engaging with employees. Well, they're going to walk around. They're going to do what Walmart call coaching by walking around. They're going to engage themselves with the employees. They're going to communicate with the employees. The 10-minute huddle or 10-minute meeting, they're going to leave that meeting. They're going to talk about things. And they're going to let the associates feel more relaxed. They're going to have so much involvement. They're going to allow other people to speak out. They're not going to have closed meetings. So that extrovert that they said cannot work well in the workplace with employee engagement, I said it can. If you're on a sports team, that's more like an employee engagement right there. Y'all working together to complete a common cause, common goals, that's to win. All except when you plan in them tournaments when you're 5, 6, 7 years old, and at the end of the tournament, everybody get a medal. But that's the difference. When you're adult and you in the work environment and you work together as a team and you feed off each other, it leads to success. And I don't think that introvert leader can actually get everyone involved. Aligning employees with organizational goals. You have to speak to the individual. You have to get the employee involved. And how are you going to align employees? So you got to come up. They can come up with a plan. Don't get me wrong. The introvert manager can come up with a plan. And that plan they come up with can be very precise. And they can tell you exactly what every employee should go and what every employee should do. Line them up. But they don't know how to deliver it to the employees. So because they don't know how to deliver it, there's no deliverance unto them, nothing gets done. So that's when employees decide to create their own method of making sure things happen and start managing them themselves. But that extrovert leader will struggle with lining up employees. They will struggle to get their plan done, but they'll create a way to get the productivity done. They'll create a way to get everyone involved to get it done, not following a line employee, not lining the employee up with organizational goals. They'll follow policy and procedures, but they probably will never hit the goal that the organization is looking for, but they still hit the numbers. It's the difference between numbers and organizational goals. But that extrovert, they'll make sure that everyone's working and moving and doing things as a team. You build trust and encourage transparency. Well, that introvert won't be able to build that trust because the introvert won't be communicating to anyone else. The introverts is the same individual that works alone, remember. Get things done alone, get things done precisely alone, and get production from what they understand of what they do very efficiently and timely. That extrovert, well, the communication and the closeness that the employee get from the communication from that extrovert leader, they get trust from that individual. And that way that extrovert leader can encourage the employees to do what they want them to do because they're involved. They're not distant. They have not separated themselves from the employee. Employees feel comfortable when they feel that the manager is in tune with them, that the manager shows that they care, that the manager communicates with them, that the manager walks around and show engagement. The introvert manager will walk around and probably won't say a word to anyone. Just look and looking, not saying a word. That doesn't build trust. That makes you think that person is weird because they don't communicate with you. But it doesn't build trust. Demonstrate what good communication looks like. You got to that's where you demonstrate it. So you walk around, you communicate, you socialize, you get feedback back. You don't have to talk about work. Hey, how you doing? How's your kids? How's your spouse? What do you think about this weather? What about the hunting seasons for the python and the alligators and down in Florida? What do you think about football season coming up? I don't know why I mentioned football season because my team lost on Sunday. I mean, I actually went to the game. I had nice box seats. The whole stadium was full of sun and hot. my area had the shade. It was on the 50-yard line, and my team lost. I still love them. I still love those Chicago Bears. Yeah, I'm going to say my team name. I loved them for years. I still love my Cubs. I still love my Bulls. I don't know about them White Sox, though. It's hard to be a Cubs fan and a White Sox fan. I don't know. I'm a diehard Cubs fan. I love my Blackhawks, too. So I was there. I enjoyed it. The first series was good. After that, wow. I said, what the heck happened? It's only game 2, though. It's only game 2. Only game 2. Improving on leaders' communication skills. Now, introvert, I look forward to learning, developing, growing, different techniques. Stand on top of what's going on in their career area. Stand on top on new technology and innovation. That introvert will do that. The extrovert, nah, not really. They more engage what's going on with the associates. If they see improvement in the area, they'll ask questions about it, but then they'll try to see how they can integrate the associates, employees into that new equipment or that new policy or things of that nature. They won't know a whole lot of particulars about it because they engage more with the employees than they do with organization structure and goals. That's probably why researchers and theorists say that the introvert is more beneficial in the workplace than the extrovert. But in the field I am in, the extrovert will be more because I need group participation. I need employee engagement. I need total involvement in order for productivity to get completed. So I need that introvert in my workspace. Real quick, let's do it. Introvert versus extrovert. Being honest. That introvert will be honest with the associate whenever they decide to speak to them. Sometimes some of them are so nervous and so scared they can't speak around people. In closed place they could. They could probably speak to the associates one at a time in the office, but they will be honest with them. Tell them exactly what's going on and what needs to be done and how long it should take. Well, that extrovert probably won't be honest. Why? Because they want productivity. So they might not tell you that a couple of associates are not coming, that employees won't be there to work to help you out. They may not tell you exactly what the numbers are that you have to complete for that day, probably not until you're actually done with productivity. They won't tell you if anything's there that might be crucial to allow you to complete that day at that full time and complete the assignments because they want productivity. They want completion. They don't want you to know anything or anything to show from them that would hinder your progress. Always follow up through with your promises. The introvert will follow through. The introvert will say what they say and mean what they say. The introvert will state what they want done and what they're going to do to make sure it gets done and follow through with it. That extrovert, not going to make any promises. That extrovert won't even discuss any promises. That extrovert will come in and say, let's go get to work. Let's go work. Let's go to work. Let's do this. Let's do this. There's no promises made. If you're dropping down in production, the extrovert will jump in. If you're dropping down in production and productivity, the introvert not going to jump in. The introvert's going to stay on the outside and tell you what you need to do to make sure you get caught up. But an extrovert, more that team player, is going to get involved and make sure things get done. So they're not going to make any promises. Communicate wisely with a plan. The introvert leader will have a plan. That introvert leader will have a plan that goes from Monday to Saturday. They'll have a routine schedule that stakes down time. From 9 to 10, you do this. From 10 to 11, you do this. From 12 to 1, you do this. The introvert's going to be time management focused. When that extrovert, they're not going to have no plan. Just communicate. They're going to be the cheerleader. They're going to say, let's go, let's get this done. And like I said before, they'll get involved. Make sure it get done. You say, ask the extrovert, what's your plan? They get out of here at normal time. That's it. That's the plan. They have nothing written down. They're not going to tell you what they need to do it. Only thing they're going to tell you is numbers you need to hit. For example, if you got to do 154 cases per hour, that's all they're going to say. Make your numbers, 154 cases per hour, pull that. That'll be it. Coaching by walking around. As I mentioned before, that introvert leader do not feel comfortable with someone in their space. And you never know their space because each introvert leader space differentiate. Some space might be arm distance, some space might be nose distance, some space might be feet distance. You really don't know. It's that individual will let you know. How they let you know? If you get too close, they back up. Or they only get so close to you. Some introverts' space is so narrow that they stay so far away from you that you can't even hear what they're saying. But an extrovert, the extrovert will shout from one side of the room to the other. Hey, how we doing with the job? Hey, James, where you at? Hey, Johnny, how far you at? Hey, catch up. Need any help? And you hear the other employees yelling across the facilities just like that extrovert. Now everybody yelling and talking. And in between all that extrovert got music playing. So everybody enjoying themselves in the workspace. Because the extrovert believe in teamwork, team involvement, that group camaraderie. So if everyone enjoying themselves as a group and working together as a group, then they're going to get the job done. The introvert probably won't play a radio, probably won't play any music, probably won't have anything going at all. It's probably quiet, so quiet in that place that you can drop a pen and hear it. And if you do say something, they probably get upset that you're saying something, you're talking, or you got noise going. I'm sure some individual looking at this podcast can contest to that they have bosses that won't allow you to talk in the workplace. Why you guys talking? You need to talk while you're working. Why you got music on? Don't need music on. How you gonna work 8 hours with no noise? My kids can't be in the room 8 hours without no noise. They gotta make it. But they want an adult to be in the workplace for 8 hours without no noise. I mean, at some point in time, you gotta at least hum to yourself. And they get upset about that. So that introvert leader is not gonna walk around. The introvert leader is gonna keep his distance. So if they do walk around, you won't see them. They'll be distant away just looking, glaring at you. You know how some of you employees will say, wow, what a weirdo. So you're not going to trust that individual. You're not going to feel comfortable around that individual. And that person doesn't talk to you, so you're not going to talk to that individual. But that extrovert, you're going to know the extrovert is there. They might walk up singing to the music being played. They may walk up and all of a sudden start dancing right there. That extrovert, you got to watch them because sometimes they so involved that they stop you from working. Then you fall behind. Then that extrovert got to get involved to make sure you get caught back up. But you guys said, boy, that's a cool manager. I like that manager. I like that leader. That extrovert. Be empathetic. That introvert will be empathetic, but they won't show it. You'll never know because they're strictly by the book. They don't deviate from anything. They don't show compassion. Why, I don't know. I guess that's some research I got to get into to find out. That extrovert shows compassion. Why? Remember, that extrovert probably played group sports, like I said, team sports and group activities. So if one person go down, they go on to see how that person is. They're going to check on that person, especially if that person is a star player. Or if they're really involved with that team, any person go down, they're part of that team, they're going to check on the individual. So they're going to show concern. They're going to be empathetic. They're going to see what they can do to help. They're going to see what they can do to get involved, to make you better, feel better, your situation better. The introvert will look for ways to see how they can make your situation better. See what they can do to make you better, but they won't communicate that with you. So you won't know. Break down complex jobs. Oh my goodness. That introvert, boy, they break that job down to the minute side. I mean, if it's a job that involves 150 minutes, they'll break that sucker down to the last second. And they have an individual working each one of those minutes and seconds. And they'll have it ready for you when you walk in. And they expect to be done at a certain time. They're not involving any variables that might pop up. They might not involving anything that might cause you to slow down. They already got that breakdown because it's a complex job. And they figure they get done on time if you follow the directions and instructions that they give you, the way they give it to you. That extrovert, complex jobs, even if it's a complex job, they're not paying no attention to it because they're just there working. So they don't know if it's a complex or not. They're like, okay, the job look bigger than it is. If they're not done at the 7th hour, I'm gonna jump in and help. If they're not done at the 6th hour, I'm gonna jump in and help. Well, if I got associates over here finished and I still got associates over here working and we all can't lead until everyone is completed, I'm gonna have those associates that finished come over and help. So you won't really want to know if it's a complex job or not, because that extrovert is gonna make sure that everyone is involved. Everyone leave on time, everyone start on time, everyone equal. Embrace openness and honest feedback. Tell an introvert that they're doing wrong. Tell an introvert that you don't agree with that ideas. For example, that introvert used to getting A's, let the introvert get a B. That introvert's gonna be upset. Hell, in high school or college, I appreciate a D. I figure if I got 2 D's, 3 C's, and a B, I'm still eligible for the next season. That's the only thing I was concerned about at that time. You in college, you're not thinking about grades. You're in high school, you're not thinking about grades. But as an extrovert, because you're involved with sports and everything else, you just want to make sure that you are ready for the season. Now, my senior year, I started thinking about my grades. I like, wait a minute, I got to do an internship. I got to get out there in the world now. I got to stop this partying scene with the college. I started worrying about grades my senior year. Remember, I told you I went 5 years. 1 year was all party year. As an introvert, everything got to be on key. Everything got to be precise. There's no deviating. And they're so hard on themselves. If they don't get things precise a certain way that they think it should be or accustomed to it being, they stress themselves out. And then they're very difficult to be around. The extrovert, life is a joy. There's no bad days. Learn how to speak to groups as individuals. You know that ain't gonna happen for the introvert. Speaking to a group as an individual, The introvert will stand out there. They won't say anything. They're not speaking. They're good at one-on-one interaction. They're good at one-on-one meetings because they feel comfortable being just one-to-one. Or even if they got a person in there with them. 3 is going to be the max. Anything past 3, they may not say anything. The extrovert, they love the one-on-one. They love the communication. They love the interaction. You have no problem with it. That's why I said I feel that an extrovert will be better leader in the field that I'm in versus the introvert. Be consistent in your communication and action. Well, an extrovert is consistent. They don't communicate. You're not an extrovert. You be like, wow, my manager always in that office. Wow. I mean, I go in and ask a question and I get 3 responses. Yes, no, yes. And that's it. I got to go talk to the supervisor because the manager don't talk to me. But that extrovert, you go in the office and talk to that extrovert. You be lucky if you leave out that office. I mean, they're going to talk about everything. They're going to talk about anything. They're going to ask you questions. They're going to ask you to sit down. And then you're going to be in the office talking for about 20, 30, 40 minutes. Then you realize how fast time will pass. You're going to say, oh, man, I got to get out there and get my job done. Then you go out there to work, and then you don't finish on time. Then they got to bring people over to help you out. Why? It's not your fault. It's that extrovert manager that couldn't stop talking in that office. Communicate equally with your employees. Don't show favoritism. That introvert, find that individual that's an introvert and will communicate only to the introvert on one-on-one basis. Now they'll have their supervisor go communicate with others. They get direction to the supervisor and have the supervisor do it. Then they'll walk around and see if it's being done, but they won't communicate while they're out there. If there's an introvert out there, they communicate the introvert. Because the introvert usually the one that's just working alone. They communicate well with that. That extrovert will not communicate with introvert associate because they feel that associate is boring. They feel that associate don't want to communicate. They feel that associate don't want to interact. So the extrovert won't communicate with their associate. They'll communicate with everyone else. They'll get information out. That associate's there. They won't follow up and see how the associate's doing it. I'll make assume that associate's going to get it done. That employee going to get it done because that employee is very particular, probably make sure that they want to get it finished. Complete their goal, their task. Unite employees around a single cause. That introvert can't do it. I don't care what the researcher said, what the theorists said. I've yet to see an introvert rally anybody around a common cause. Because I don't think that introvert know what a common cause is because they already into themselves. So that common cause is not going to be geared up on the company. That common cause is going to be geared up on that individual. I know after this podcast, I'm a lot of introverts mad at me This is just my personal opinion. For my involvement with introverts and extroverts. Yes, I'm an extrovert, as you can see. My kids are extroverts. My wife is an extrovert. Extroverts love people. They love communicating with people. Introverts, leery about everybody. I shouldn't trust that person. That person doesn't look right to me. That person don't look good and white. I'm not going to let them get too close to me. That's an introvert. Extrovert, if you wearing red and purple, gonna walk up and say, hey, that's a cool outfit, and shake your hand, say, I gotta get me something like that. That's an extrovert. That extrovert can rally an individual around a common cause, around a single cause. They can get them in, and they can say, okay, today, we need to make sure we get this done. This is what came down the pipeline. We gotta make sure this is done. This gotta be done by this time. This gotta be done to this degree. And they make sure it happens all the way around. That introvert is going to use their managers or their supervisors. Hey, let's have a meeting. I need you guys to make sure this get done. Then they'll step away and look at their supervisors or manager, go out there and motivate their employees around that single cause. Whereas the extrovert going to be right in the middle. Hey, gather around. Come on, I'm right here. We need to do this, do this, do this. If you fall back, need help, let me know. I'll be walking around. Hey, we got to get this done. Transmit confidence, demonstrate confidence. That extrovert is going to show a whole lot of confidence, a great deal of confidence in their ability to get the job done, and their ability to communicate, and their ability to make sure that everyone's involved. The introvert is not going to show the confidence in their ability to get things done, even though the introvert has better planning, even though the introvert has better ideas and thoughts, even though the introvert already have routines in place. They don't have the confidence to share it. And because they don't share it, the social doesn't get it. They don't rely on that leader for information. So that introvert leader in my profession end up failing. Whereas the extrovert, who probably has less knowledge about the job than an introvert, end up succeeding. Because in my profession, it's more about getting the employees involved. I say in my profession, more about getting the employees involved so that extrovert will excel and exceed. It's some jobs that you need that introvert more than you need that extrovert. And an extrovert in some jobs will be a problem. You assume that extrovert too outgoing, that extrovert's too loud, that extroverts communicate with employees too much, that extrovert have too much team camaraderie in some jobs. So you prefer that introvert, because an introvert will keep an office space calm, will keep an office space quiet, will keep an office space with employees focusing on what they're doing. It won't be the introvert. Probably if you want that office space to be quiet, the introvert, that leader makes it quiet. If it's cubicles, you won't have any music in the cubicles. The associate or the manager or supervisor probably got to have earplugs in. One ear with earplugs, other ear out. Or both ears with the end and working with the earplugs. That's the only music they hear. It can't be loud enough for someone else can hear it. So I prefer the extrovert over the introvert. Think about it. Which one do you prefer? And then let me know next time. Until we meet again, thank you and goodbye.